This episode of Access to the Arts is being made possible through the support of First Bank Richmond, with 8 locations serving Wayne County. First Bank Richmond and you, doing great things together.
Hi, welcome to Access to the Arts. I'm Dave Paxton. Coming up on this edition, we'll have Ryan Shaw from Richmond Civic Theater. We'll talk with Monica Coachline from Richmond Symphony Orchestra and John Cook from Civic Hall, and we'll find out about 21 for Fun. It's all on this edition of Access to the Arts. Welcome back to Access to the Arts. I'm joined now by Ryan Shaw.
Hi.
He's the managing director of the Stage 1 program at Richmond Civic Theater. Ryan, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
All right, let's talk all things Richmond Civic Theater. We haven't really talked a little bit about Richmond Civic Theater for a little bit, but you have a production coming up that you wanted to talk about, Charlotte's Web.
So Charlotte's Web is coming up in March on the 14th and 15th. It's a Saturday and a Sunday, and it's the classic story of Charlotte's Web. Most people are familiar with it, the book by E.B. White, and we're doing that as our last production of this season. So hopefully people come out and see it.
Talk a little bit about the cast of, we'll have to go into everybody's names and remember everybody, but how's the cast made up? How's the show set up for those who obviously know the animated show that was on, and obviously the story of which it was inspired from, but how's the stage production take that and put it forward?
Sure. So it's pretty close to it's kind of a crossbreed between the production, the animated movie, and the book itself. All the classic characters are there. Charlotte Templeton the rat that everybody loves, the sheep, Charlotte's children. All those main characters are there. And this cast is one of our younger cast of the season. It's Stage 1. We try to do our best at balancing out our season, giving opportunity to high school students, middle school, elementary, all the way down. And so this one tends to have a cast comprised mostly of middle school on down. So there are going to be a lot of faces that are also new as well. We always try to encourage new people, and I think this show has 30 new students, first-time students.
And let's talk a little bit about that, because one of the things that's great about this program is obviously not only putting the show out for people to see, but also engaging the younger people to bring them into the theater, because it's something really that they'll hopefully want to do for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, so the Civic Theater has been around, the youth theater has been around Richmond for a very, very, very long time. Stage 1 itself is actually coming up on its 20th anniversary. So there's just so many ways to be involved in theater, and I think sometimes it can seem a little daunting and people think it's just the stage, but there's so many ways to be involved. Even in Stage 1 as a kid and as an adult you can be involved. We are constantly in search of bringing new people in to kind of get them that experience of live theater and give them opportunities to be involved in the arts in ways they maybe have never thought of before.
I can remember, I'm going to date this back a long time ago, met my wife at Richmond Civic Theater, but she had just moved to town and just on a lark decided to volunteer, and she ended up doing props for a show, and that's how I met her. But I bring that up just because of the volunteer aspect, not because, maybe you'll find your wife or husband at Richmond Civic. You might, but talking about volunteer aspect, not just on stage. You mentioned it, everybody's encouraged to audition for shows, but there's so many other things that the theater offers in terms of volunteers.
Yes, there's almost anything you can imagine. There's painting, lights, set, music, costumes. We even just need people sometimes to be there to what I affectionately call kid wranglers. So parents or adults who are willing to just kind of come in and lend their time to help keep the chaos and control at rehearsals. So there's something for everyone, no matter what your interests are. I guarantee you I can find something for you to do.
And it's maybe even finding, if you have a child who's maybe a little interested but not ready to go on stage, getting them backstage to help with whatever, to put a show on, kind of begins to feed that desire that maybe will eventually get them out on the stage.
Yeah, we have, like I said, tons of opportunity to work backstage. We have our summer camp series, which is a really great way to get involved. And if you're a little older and you're a teenager, we have what's called Teen Night, which is a great way to come into the theater without the pressure of any kind of audition and do something fun with people that are your peers from all different schools. So there's many ways to kind of get your feet wet before taking that big leap to being on stage.
All right, so if they're looking for how to reach out to get involved, how do they do that?
So the best thing, especially for Stage 1, is I use, because I'm kind of old, I'm showing my age, is Facebook. But Stage 1 has a Facebook and an Instagram that you can follow. Stage 1 at RCT. So if you get on Facebook, find us, follow us. I put a lot of information there, and that's the best way to keep up to date.
All right, and then going back to Charlotte's Web, which is the next production coming up in March.
Yes.
And if they're looking for tickets, it's gorct.org?
That's correct, gorct.org. It's the easiest way to get your tickets, and they're available now. So.
All right. And anything coming up after Charlotte's Web? Don't want to put you on the spot.
No, you're fine. We have a few more shows left this season. Stage 1's last one is Charlotte's Web, but we're also doing Newsies. So if anyone is familiar with the 1989 movie of Newsies.
And Christian Bale in that?
Yes, Christian Bale,
yeah.
pre-Batman. But we're doing that. That's going to be our season closer. And we've got a show actually coming up even this weekend. So there's always something going on at RCT.
Right. GoRCT.org. That's for tickets for Charlotte's Web. Ryan Shaw, thank you very much for joining us. Ryan Shaw, Managing Director of the Stage 1 at Richmond Civic Theater. We'll be back with more. Welcome back to Access to the Arts, and I am very glad to be joined now by Eric Marsh, an old friend of mine, Executive Director of the Whitewater Community, the family of television?
Whitewater Community Television family of stations. Thank you very much.
There it is.
And I was just about to compliment you for the job that you're doing with this show.
Wow, and then... Well, that's why I let you say what your own title is.
Well, thanks.
I'm not going to tell you what my title is. Anyway, you're here today to talk about something coming up, 21 for Fun. 21 for Fun. This will actually be our 7th annual event. It is a fundraiser for WCTV. It is a great night. It'll be, let's start with the date, April 17th, which is a Friday evening, 6 to 10. 6 to 7 is kind of a social hour, drinking hour, grabbing some food type of hour, and then the games open at 7 o'clock, and we'll have blackjack tables, roulette, craps, and some poker tables to play also. All right, and you said it's been going on 7 years? This will be our 7th annual event. It has moved around from various places. Started out at the Holiday Inn. We had it in the ballroom at the Leland for a year. We were out at Forest Hills Country Club, but this will be the 2nd year in a row that we will be at the Elks Country Club. And somebody who's interested, it's come on out. Is it pre-register? Tickets will be available, obviously being public access. We're not saying what the ticket price is here, it's all right. But tickets will be available on Eventbrite. You can go to our website, find out more information about it. It's a great night. Not only do we have the food and the games, music. Daniel Nix, who is a former student at Indiana University, a former Jacobs School of Music student at Indiana University, will be bringing up 3 or 4 of his former classmates who will be playing music for us throughout the evening. And this is the 2nd year. For those who missed him last year, Richard Darshwood will be doing some kind of sleight of hand right up on you. We're not going to set him up on a stage, but he's going to be right there at your table, stop, talk to you, and do a couple of quick tricks. He's not going to come up and try to deal blackjack, is he?
Well, we're not sure what he's going to deal, man.
But speaking of that, this is a good opportunity for folks who maybe they certainly haven't been to Vegas much more, maybe see a show or two. Sure. It's a good opportunity to kind of introduce yourself into playing some of the games of chance for fun. You're not going to lose the family nest egg, but it's a good opportunity to kind of learn some of those games. We were talking before you sat down here. Craps is a game that is an interesting thing to see, but to play can sometimes intimidate people.
One of the great things about this is it is for fun. So the dealers will help you learn the game. They'll help kind of talk you through a little bit until you're comfortable enough to handle it on your own. Those people around you will also help you out. It's all friends, it's all family, so it's just a chance for people to come out, have a good time, and support Whitewater Community Television.
All right, it's 21 for fun. It is when again?
It is Friday, April 17th. Tickets will be available on Eventbrite. If you need some information, you can give us a call here at the station, 973-8488.
Eric Marsh, the executive director over everything going on here. How's that? Is that better?
Nice.
All right. We'll be back with more on Access to the Arts.
That was cool. That was real cool. And I used real magic.
And then it just magically came to the top, and it was mind-blowing.
It's just that easy.
Welcome back to Access to the Arts. I'm joined now by Monica Coachline from Richmond Symphony Orchestra. Monica, thank you for taking some time out of your busy schedule to come out and join us to talk a little bit about what's coming up in the near future for RSO.
Well, we've got a busy spring. Got a couple concerts left.
Is it spring yet?
It is not. It certainly doesn't feel like that out there today.
But yeah, so you do. You've got a busy spring coming up.
We do.
Let's first talk about what you're holding there in your hand, and that is Show Me the 90s. Now,
Show Me the 90s.
Before we talk about that, let's talk about the series kind of as a whole. You've highlighted different eras of music throughout, and you're now up to the 90s. But talk a little bit about that whole show, the series of shows that you've put on.
Yeah, the progression. I think in 2015, was at the end of 2014, Ginger Gray, our production guru, mentioned that she'd always wanted to do an event out at the airport, kind of an Americana-themed event, and it kind of morphed into this. You know, it was the 70th anniversary of Victory in Europe Day, and we said, you know, let's do a 40s event. Let's invite back these World War II veterans, and we held that event. And within 3 days, I probably had 10 phone calls in the office saying, "You've got to continue through the decades. This is so much fun." So it was not intentional. It kind of just became that. We did the 50s, brought an Elvis tribute artist, and had a really good time. And we moved into the 70s, which I swore we wouldn't do, but disco can be a lot of fun. You know, there's a lot of fun elements of disco. Moved into the 80s and did Back to the 80s, kind of a Back to the Future theme. And this year, moving on up to the 90s. This was a decade we were not going to do. It was pretty clear from Ginger that the 90s were just not an era that was long enough ago to celebrate. But you know, we had some millennials in this community that outcried. They were really upset. They felt like we needed to do the 90s. Right. And I think the more we played around with the 90s, the easier of the vision that it became.
So, and talking in terms of theme, you have decided to latch on to the catchphrase from the movie Jerry Maguire, and it's instead of "Show me the money," it's "Show me the 90s." Show me the 90s.
Now, don't get me wrong; fundraisers are all about showing me the money, but nonetheless, it is "Show me the 90s." You know, the orchestra has really begun to enjoy this event as well, and movie themes have become a real highlight. So the symphony will be playing. I don't know if I can remember them all. Flight to Neverland, Mission Impossible. We'll be doing a little Jurassic Park, be doing a little Forrest Gump, and I'm struggling with the last one, but I'll probably remember it here very shortly. So 5 really nice movie hits. I already have the musicians hired. The music is here, and then. You know, we've started to show movie clips with those too, and people have really enjoyed that element. And we'll end the evening. The evening will be fantastic. We'll end the evening with a returning group from New Jersey. We'll have the Ronald Reagans with us once again. Big 80s, 90s band.
Okay.
Yeah, good times.
Okay, it's kind of and you mentioned particularly with Jurassic Park, but some of them, but some of the movie themes obviously work well because John Williams as a composer and conductor, but certainly in terms of the grand expanse that the music can give, it really works well with the RSO.
And I do know why I forgot the last piece, and I'm sure I'm going to give some grief that night. We are going to do Harry Potter, and everybody's going to say the movies didn't come out till 2000, but boy, all the kids read Harry Potter in the 90s, and just really need to do that. Lots of big surprises for the evening. We're considering a costume parade this year. We've got some grab and stash your cash. We've got some big Jurassic photo ops. We've got a lot of fun planned.
That's very, very, very cool. So Show Me the 90s. When is that going to be?
April 25th, 2020. Tickets are online now.
And where do they go online? What's the...
RichmondSymphony.org.
Okay.
If you have any trouble with that, just call me in the office.
And let's talk about the Bethany recitals that will be coming up.
Absolutely. We've got 2 left. So we've had four so far in the last 2 years. We've got 2 left. We're going to wedge those right between the concerts. We'll do March 29th. We have a harp and a flute player joining us. And then on April 19th, we'll wrap it all up with a woodwind quartet. I think there are 4 quartets. So we're really excited.
All right. And while I have you here, what else do you have on tap for RSO?
So, you know, we're finishing the season. I think when I was here last time, I mentioned to you that Conductor Bordeaux is going to start his program the next season, and we're going to learn about that in about a week and start putting the brochure together. But before we finish all of that, we've got a concert on March 14th, our concert in the round at Seton Catholic High School. This will be about our 4th year there. It's a nice opportunity for people to just sit behind the orchestra, sit very close to the orchestra members, and just see how hard they work. I mean, and also just have an opportunity. They're on the stage, so you can't speak to them. But this way, during the intermission, you really can just reach out and ask a question if you'd like to. It's been a great concert for us, and we'll finish the season on April the 6th, back at Civic Hall, where we'll feature our concertmaster, Marian Lundy.
Outstanding. Monica Coachline, Show Me the 90s.
Show Me the 90s.
And once again, for tickets, where do they go?
RichmondSymphony.org.
All right. We'll be back with Access to the Arts.
Hello, welcome to the Number 9 Grill.
Being a family business means having each other's backs, which is why we're happy to have First Bank Richmond as part of our business family.
As people we know and trust, to be there when we need them.
And it doesn't hurt to be right across the street, too.
We're joined by John Cook, Performing Arts Manager of Civic Hall here on Access to the Arts. John, welcome back. I know, although I may personally feel a little less excited right now, but there is much excitement because you have a lot of great events coming up, including IU versus Purdue on the stage.
Yes, it's going to be an awesome performance, February 22nd. 3:30 p.m. It's a matinee, and it is the Purdue Varsity Glee Club and the Indiana University Singing Hoosiers. It's going to be an amazing performance. The concert's going to start with the Purdue Varsity Glee Club, first half. Then second half will be Singing Hoosiers doing their show, and then there's going to be a mass performance at the end. They're going to collaborate, and they're also going to bring up some of the Richmond High School kids to sing with them. It's going to be, I think, pretty spectacular.
Are we sure that they're going to all sing on the same key? Nobody's going to change the key or the tempo, are they just...
They're using their own people. So the instrumentalists for IU are from IU, and the instrumentalists from Purdue are for Purdue, but I don't think they're going to...
We'll talk a little bit about that in terms of you're now having to put together production with 2 full groups.
Yes.
And as you mentioned, musicians and performers on stage, all in one show. That's going to be a daunting task for you.
Well, sure. It sounds harder than it is, possibly. We have a really good technical crew. Mike Rogan is the head of the stage tech crew, and he runs, a great ship, I guess, inside Civic Hall. But it is kind of an interesting way to put them together. They're going to share the stage. One group is bringing the stage that they're all going to use, because they each have their own performing stages, but they're going to share one. They're going to use the same piano, some of the same drum set equipment, that kind of stuff, so that there's a smooth transition. So there's a little bit of collaboration or cooperation that's happening between the 2 groups. And they've been talking to each other for probably the last 9 months, kind of in, preparation for the show.
And this is really something they don't do this very often.
No. I found out about a performance they did together about 10 years ago, and it interested me because of the fact that I thought, what a better way to bring them together here. We have a strong IU alumni group from IU East, and we also have Purdue Polytechnic, and there's a lot of people around here from Purdue as well. And I thought it'd be great for them to perform together and kind of bring everybody into the same place.
Now I know tickets are almost sold out.
Almost.
Maybe just a few left.
Yeah.
But what I find is that we're actually going to be taping that for you.
We are
here at WCTV, WETV. So we're actually, if you can't get the tickets because you're sold out, it'll be a good opportunity to see the performance then later.
Multiple cameras. I'm pretty sure that there's going to be multiple angles that you'll be able to see it on TV. Also, like you said, the tickets are few right now, but there's still some if you call us in the next week. The performance is on the 22nd, so you still have roughly 2 weeks.
Yeah. And from when we're taping this, yes.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. It could be, but it's something to check, to call.
Yes.
They could also, they really probably need to call for that one to just make sure they're still.
Call the box office at 765-973-3350 and talk to Cindy 8 to 4. Somebody's always in there, or leave a message and we'll get back to you.
All right. Beyond the Singing Hoosiers versus Purdue, we have other great shows coming up.
We do. March 11th, the U.S. Army Band and Soldiers Chorus from Washington, D.C. They're going to be performing on March 11th. It's a Wednesday at 7 p.m. It's going to be an amazing performance. If you've never seen one of the service bands from Washington, D.C., they're the best. It doesn't matter what branch of service they're performing for. They're all top flight musicians. They're amazing performers. And they're doing a show that's called We'll Defend, or This We'll Defend. It's themed, so there's patriotic portions that tie all the music into what the Army has done through the years, through the history of America for the most part. And they're also going to bring some of the Richmond kids out on stage. They're going to have some instrumentalists that perform with them and also vocalists. So there's a chance for some of our students from Richmond High School to actually be involved with that as well. And those are free.
Those are
free tickets, yeah.
Yeah, and then beyond that?
Then the following Saturday, on the 14th, is Derek Nelson and family. It's a trio of 2 boys and a girl, or 2 men and a woman. Mm-hmm. They're family members. They have put together a really cool show. They actually performed professionally. They were on the show Glee, which was big in the early 2010-ish area, 8, 10, around in there. But that's kind of how they got started in the TV kind of activity. But they perform throughout the country. Their show also has some technology that's involved that's really, I think, kind of adds a whole lot to the show just because of the way that they've synced up what's happening behind them as well as their vocal performance. They do some things where they actually sing with themselves like they'll do a cappella, but they're also syncing it up with performances on the screen behind you, and they do all types of music. The genres are, from the Great American Songbook up to pop, and they also do some original music, which is, I think, really, really cool, and I think our audience will really appreciate what they do. And there's some tickets for that.
Outstanding. And you give the phone number again for that.
765-973-3350, and that's civichall.com. If you want to go to our website, you can go there and check out some of the information there as well. And you could actually get some tickets or sign up for some tickets on website.
And before I let you get out of here, because you mentioned it both with the IU performance and then also with the performance after, talked a little earlier about engaging some of the students and getting them involved in music and however they're doing.
Right.
But both the programs you mentioned, bringing students on stage to perform with them, has to be a thrill for the kids.
Oh, it's. I can relate it to when I was in college and I got to perform with IU Singing Hoosiers. I went to Ball State, but we collaborated. That's something that I remember. I always liked it too when we got to perform with high school kids, and it's inspirational for the high school kids that maybe think about something down the road when they go to college that they could get involved with this. Same thing with the military band. I mean, it's something that some of our students may not have thought about at this point in their lives, but it's something that they could do in the future if they're interested, and they can see, how it plays out, especially when you get to perform with them. It
was a case where my daughter got to play with the Air Force Band. And that,
awesome.
That is something that is still, she talks about to this day.
That's there. I mean, it's a life-changing kind of moment in your life.
All right. John Cook with Civic Hall, thank you very much. A lot of things coming up. So be sure to, once again, phone number, give it one more time for you.
765-973-3350.
John, thanks for coming in.
Thanks.
And we will come back with more on Access to the Arts. That's going to do it for this edition. Thanks to all of my guests for coming out and spending some time with us today. And I'm Dave Paxton, and as we leave you, here are some of the other events that are going on in and around the Wayne County area.
This episode of Access to the Arts is being made possible through the support of First Bank Richmond, with 8 locations serving Wayne County. First Bank Richmond and you, doing great things together.